Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, you ready to move on to the next series?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Knicks sweep the Cavs again. They just steamroll their opponent for the last game of the playoffs. It wasn't even close. It just, I guess to me, it kind of almost looked like the Cavs didn't even like decide that it was time. Like even their effort to like transition defense was just not there. 130-93. Let's look at it from the Cavs point. Cavs point of view. Well, let's start with the Knicks. What did we see with the Knicks in this series that we liked and what we moving forward?
Yeah, so we talked about the other series, the end of the Hawks series and the
Sixers.
the Sixers series. They ran a lot through Towns,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked. This series, you have James Harden or you have their guards to pick on, and they switched it back to like a Brunson heavy guard approach, cutting approach, while still keeping Towns like out of the way, not like, but just out on the court so you have the spacing. And they killed him with it. I mean, James Harden had no shot, and even some of them where he was kind of close, like James Harden isn't skying to block your shots.
Right.
Which kind of goes to the if you just know you can get a shot over a guy, it doesn't really matter if he's there if you're confident. And
Mm-hmm.
the Cavs just didn't have anything. They kind of took their ball and went home after that second part, the end of game 3, when they kind of got broken. And I mean, they didn't even really show up for game 4, but kind of a pathetic showing from them. Just, you think after game 1, where you kind of had your way until the end, to just never kind of really get close after that.
Yeah, just to put a bow on the Knicks part, right? Like, so Shamet looks very playable right now. McBride looks playable. Obviously, when you watch the Spurs Thunder and they're beating each other up, and you might not have to deal with, like, let's say if they play the Thunder, no Mitchell, no Williams, Caruso like sprained his ankle a little bit today. It's like it looks like that the Knicks might have it in them to make that a series. I might have jumped too hard on the whoever wins this series is the finals winner. We'll see. But I do really like what the Knicks are doing. Bridges look good all series. Hart had moments like he's kind of their Caruso, like just big energy plays, driving to the basket. He had that one game where he was just on fire. I think it was like a left-handed floater that kissed the front of the rim and rolled in. I'm like, that guy's got it. And then it goes back to like even that last game where they just walloped on the Cavs is not one of their players scored over 20 points, but they scored 130 points, which I think is a record in NBA history that no team ever hit 130 and not had a 20-point score. So they can do it in a variety of different ways, and I think they're going to be a little bit of a problem for whoever they play in the next in the finals. And congratulations to Knicks and Knicks fans, by the way. That's amazing for them.
Yeah, I mean, 26 years to finally get back.
Yeah.
And for the NBA, the biggest market, and the Knicks aren't like totally hateable right now.
Right.
Jalen Brunson has kind of cleaned it up a little, though. If we get a Shea and Brunson flop off, could be exciting. But I think the Knicks are just really elite offensively. There's probably some meat on the bone that the Spurs or Thunder are going to find defensively against the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
But their offense, the way they're playing right now, and even if you take out Hart and put in Shamet, who is still a respectable defender,
Mm-hmm.
Is a problem.
Yep.
So I think from that aspect, no matter who they play, and especially if that series goes 7, and they're still going to get like 3 days before it's not till next Wednesday, so they'll get 3 days before they have to play again. So it won't be, like before where you get 1 day off and you're into the finals, but they'll be rested, and I mean, they can score in bunches. And we saw it in the Sixers series. They go 12 of 14 for 3 or whatever to start a game. And I don't care who you are, that's going to be hard to overcome. So I think the Knicks have a puncher shot. And if this series goes 7, like you said, and Mitchell can't come back because it's a calf, or J-Dub, he still can't play with a hamstring or he's limited. I think they can get. I think they have a shot.
Yeah, and don't forget like last year the Pacers took the Thunder to 7. So like a lot of people thought they were just going to walk through that series as well. So we got to kind of cool our roll a little bit, but I'm with you on that. We will have next week on our podcast, we're obviously going to do Eastern Western Conference award shows like we have done but I also want to do like winners and losers of the playoffs and finals. And the Knicks, you can throw it at Cat, Brunson, whoever. And then I'll just take a moment to apologize to Jalen Brunson. I was not one of those guys. Like Detroit Pistons were rumored to be interested. I'm like, I don't want him. He's 6 foot. I don't think you could build like a real winning team around him like that could compete for championships. Clearly, I was wrong, and I'd like to personally apologize right now for that. And I'm, really happy that you're getting this moment.
Yeah, I think I put that in your text to you yesterday. I was like, and we talked about during the year like the death of the small guard on these teams, and I mean we'll see in the finals. The Knicks got there. The East is the East, but you got to the finals, so never apologize for getting to the finals.
Right.
But we'll see when we get there against these teams with bigger physical guards. But Bridges has awoken, so at least you can, not want to gouge your eyes out looking at the 5 first-round picks. You got to the finals. Again, if they close it out, flags fly forever. It doesn't matter how many first-round picks you traded to get these dudes. But you're right. Brunson is like exceeded expectations all the time. I was in the same boat with you. If they were like the Bucks get Brunson, when he was leaving Dallas, I would have been like, I'm good.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Here we are. So props to the small dude out there.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Now, you mentioned something important with the Knicks. They're in the Eastern Conference, and all they have to do is beat who's in front of them. So who was in front of them? The Cavs. So let's talk about the Cavs side of the ball. I think we should end it with Harden because we're going to do like an Harden legacy talk. But I do want to ask you, do you know how many players? So Harden played what, 36 minutes or something like that in this game? Whatever.
33.
33. Okay. Do you know how many players on both sides of the ball had just as much or more assists than James Harden?
I have it up, but you can tell me why I count.
Okay.
He had 1, didn't he? 2?
He had 2.
Yeah.
Mobley, Tyson, Porter Jr., Proctor, all 5 Knicks starters, Dewara, Shamet, Alvarado, and McBride all had 2 or more assists in the game. That's rough. That's rough. Before we dive into James Harden, I just wanted to start with that because I thought that was crazy. Any other Cavs thoughts before we move on to the James Harden stuff?
I mean, they switched out. This isn't just on James Harden. They traded to get James Harden, but their same problems are still there.
Mm-hmm.
Mobley has been better, but hasn't like taken that leap where you go, wow, this dude's a top 15 player. He does it all. It kind of comes or goes, but you just see the difference. Like I think I put in your text, we could stop like Evan Mobley is going to be the next Kevin Garnett.
Right, correct.
Like,
yeah.
Like we can sunset it. It's not going to happen. Dude's not strong enough. Doesn't shoot good enough to be like KG or whatever. And Mitchell, same thing. Like it's weird that he can't really dribble. I mean, he can, but he can't be a point guard.
Right.
And he always looks tired in these games. Like I know it's been brought up, like Bill Simmons, Ryan Russillo, all those guys. He just gets worn out for a dude that doesn't like initiate all the offense, and he's not like running off ball like Steph Curry. And you get to these games and he just looks exhausted, and you're like, dude, like they keep getting you guys to kind of take the ball handling responsibilities. Last year was more understandable. He had to do it all and you just get cooked. But I think, he's kind of just following in the same steps of like he puts up stats, but are you going to win with Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I don't know, because like I think in the right circumstance, it's possible. But like there was just like weird like where coaching. I don't know if it was coaching decision or it's just James Harden decisions where like Mitchell would be on fire, and then Harden would go away from Mitchell, and Mitchell wouldn't touch the ball. Like I think in game one, remember he only had 3 shots after having like 29 points or 31 points or something like that in the first 3 quarters, and it's like why Harden feeding him the ball? And this is always like my problem with the Harden problem is like it's just he dribbles the air out of the ball so much. It's like about him and the bigs. That's mainly the offense. So having someone like Mitchell is almost a waste. But yeah, it is crazy because he is, being a smaller guard, he would have been in that, what we talked about before with Brunson, a small guard. It's like the death of them. But I don't know, maybe in the right circumstance. I guess like my thought is like if you put him in with the Pistons next to Cade, would that be a better situation? If you put him in a team like where he's playing with the Pacers and Halliburton 6'5" or what, and then the rest of the team is defensive, would that be a good situation? Um, maybe, but it's getting to the point where you got to question how far you could get. And Eastern Conference Finals is far, but the East is weak, and you should have put up a better challenge than a 4-0 sweep against the Knicks.
And you could go through all of their series. They probably should have lost to the Raptors. They got 7 and got through. The Raptors had injuries. The Pistons,
They fell apart in game 3 and 5. Yeah.
The Pistons punted 2, and half their players decided they didn't know how to play basketball anymore, and the Pistons still took them to 7.
Yeah.
So I think playing a team that was with it just exposed all of it, and it's just an expensive team that none of the questions are like. Jared Allen has these games like against the Pistons where he's like 30 and 20, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you look at a game and you're like, 6 and 3.
Yeah.
Like I know this game was a blowout, but you just see these games and you're like, what happened? Where is that dude? Or where is the Mobley we see where he goes for 25 and 12, and then you're like, 15 and 7.
Yeah.
That's the like inconsistency that they have that they haven't fixed, whether it's Garland, whether it's Harden. They switch coaches. I just think the two bigs, too small.
Well, that's where I was going to go with this. Obviously, we're going to do, if anybody listening, we're doing their exit interview tomorrow. And it's like one of the big questions, like Mobley and Allen might just not be good to play together, right? And you got away with it Detroit because you could play off of Asar, and then like you have this big guy roaming, right? Like Mobley's roaming. That's great. But like, I mean, we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but that's like one of the issues is like, is Mobley just miscast? Could he reach not like an extreme level, just a little bit better of a level, another level if he's just your all-time center, he's doing his thing. There's a potential for that. But I mean, the big questions for the Cavs this offseason. Their shooters also didn't show up in this series. Strus, Merrill, and Wade. I think they were like a combined. I mean, they shot a horrible percentage. I should have looked. I saw a stat on. I didn't save it on Twitter, but I don't think Strus shot the ball very well, especially that last game. So I don't know.
Yeah, the Cavs guys are like Merrill, to maybe a lesser extent Strus, because he's kind of all over the place. But even like Dean Wade, they're like a specific kind of specialist.
Yeah.
And it's just hard when the team kind of narrows in on it, and it comes and goes. And
yeah,
if he breaks loose, like against that Pistons game, where you get 2 or 3 open looks and then it's on, and they kind of find a way to maneuver a weakness in you, it looks great. But when the Knicks kind of lock into it like they did, I mean, Sam Merrill's a really good NBA player, but he can't really dribble. Yep. And he's got to be dependent on coming off screens or you making a mistake, which great. He's going to make a great living doing it. But in some of these playoff games, that's where you run into the problem of we have specialists, but not like 30-minute a game players.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing, the difference between like the Knicks and the Cavs, or the Spurs and Thunder and Cavs. You got these guys that can do multiple things. So just I had the stats here. I don't know why I didn't say it. Like Strus shot 32% from 3 in this series, and Merrill was 28% from 3 in this series. So not good shooting for them either. Okay.
But they did win the analytics battle for 2 of them. Did I steal your thunder? Is that where you're going?
No, I have it written down, but I forgot to bring it up. That was great. And I think part of the attitude, the reason why the Cavs lost, I don't know how much part, it might only be like 3% or whatever, but like just the coaching comments throughout this series were really weird. Like the analytics, well, according to analytics, we won 2 games. So is he preparing for game 5 now? Or he said Harden's a really great isolation defender. And it's like, is that why at the end of game 1 you were constantly doubling anytime Harden got to a John Brunson? It's like, come on, dude. Like, and I just felt like at some point you lose your team a little bit when you're just like making these statements like, don't tell me don't believe your lying eyes, right? Like, come on, we know better than that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. The isolation defender thing is like true if it's in the post. Which,
Sure.
guess what? Jalen Brunson isn't posting him up. He's
Correct.
just roasting him from the perimeter.
Yeah.
And, like, again, the shot quality, which is like a great regular season marker, and it can help, but I think that was on the Ryan Russillo pod. Like, you just can't say that because it's stupid. Like, yes, analytically, you had like high quality shots, but again, analytics are awesome to like study. And when we use them in the regular season, it's really efficient because we're playing 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
You played 4.
Yeah.
It's a small sample size each series. And what we've talked about, people get stuck in that thinking and don't change because the Cavs probably didn't change much because they're like, oh, we're getting what we want. Well, that's great. But like you said, Merrill was 28%. Strus was 32%. You got to come up with something different, guys. Shooting comes and goes, and these guys are really good shooters, but everyone knows, like, you go through a stretch of 5, 10, 15 games where it just doesn't work, and then the next 10 games you're shooting 52%, and it's awesome. That's why it's called an average, guys. And when you do that, and I think even when you're like, oh, Harden's a good ISO defender, like the rest of the guys in the locker room are like, what are we even talking about here? Like,
right. Correct.
No one believes that. So
right.
Stop saying it.
Yeah. Like, it's almost like he was pandering to Harden a lot this offseason. I mean, this playoffs, and I don't understand why. I think they want to re-sign him, and that's why. And that's why I sent you that TikTok video of Josh Hart saying like, analytics is like a lamppost for drunk people. Like, they lean up on it and it's good to help support them, but it's not going to get you home. And I feel like it. I feel like that's what analytics is. It has a purpose, but you got to go beyond the analytics sometimes to see what your team actually needs in the moment or in the time. You can get good, like you said, the Celtics, I'm sure if you go back to the Sixers series, they'd be like, analytically, we should have won every single game because we got a lot of open threes. Did they win? No. Okay. It's not the way sports aren't played with numbers. It's played with emotions and the stuff on the floor and the versatility, the adaptability you have. So that's where people gets lost with analytics, I think, is they think it's like an NL be all. It's like, it's not. It's just not.
For sure.
Okay, so speaking of analytics, James Harden. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.